Chapter 4. From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lusts that war in your members? Ye lust and have not, ye kill and desire to have, and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lusts. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Do ye think that the Scripture saith in vain, the Spirit that dwelleth in us lusteth to envy? But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted, and mourn, and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother, and judgeth his brother, speaketh evil of the law, and judgeth the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver, who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judgest another? Go to now, ye that say, Today or tomorrow we shall go into such a city, and continue there a year, and buy and sell, and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, If the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good, and doeth it not, to him it is sin. James here is probably giving us the very best advice we could get about personal relationships and relationships between countries, and why there are wars and why we have problems. Verse 1, From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even from your own lusts that war in your members? He's talking to people here, but the same thing applies to countries. Talking about you having conflicts within yourself about what you want to do or what you don't want to do, what your priorities are. You lust and have not. You kill and you desire to have, cannot obtain. You fight and war and you have not, because you ask not. You ask not and receive not, because you ask amiss. In other words, you don't ask for the right things. You ask for things that you can consume upon the desires of your heart. And he gives it a couple of examples. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity to God? Those people who do the things that are approved of by the vast majority of mankind in the world will never be those things that are likely going to be approved by God. We saw that with the Jews. Okay, the vast majority of them were basically idol worshippers. The small minority of them were the ones who were spiritual. Therefore, whoever therefore will be a friend of the world is by default, not necessarily because they choose, well, I better phrase this right, because if you're going to have your friends patting you on the back and telling you what a wonderful choice you made, the chances are that their approval won't be for the things that are really spiritual. They're going to be for the things that are also lustful and based on moral corruption and desires. Do you think that the Scripture saith in vain, verse 5, the Spirit that dwelleth in us lusteth to envy? That's the spirit that is in man, because that's the spirit that Satan tempts you with. You have to resist that in order to be spiritual. And most people in the world make no effort to resist it, because they go with whatever's easiest. If you want to resist, if you want to have the spiritual things that will give you the eternal things and give you blessings in this life as well, many times, basically verse 7 is it. Submit yourselves therefore to God. In other words, instead of you telling God what you want, you ask God what he wants for you. Be prepared to work at it. It says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. From verse 10, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord and he will lift you up. It takes work. It doesn't happen. It doesn't just happen. Nothing just happened. Verse 11, speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judges his brother, judging meaning to condemn, speaking evil of the law, and judgeth the law. Now, verse 13, 14, and 15. Go to now that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? And then he says, here's the point. A lot of rich people never get this, I guess. It is even a vapor, your life is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now you rejoice in your boastings, verse 16. All such rejoicing is evil. And what he means is, it's not that it's evil to think that you'd like to do good things, or like to do wonderful things, or like to do great things. But unless you learn that you have to do things the Lord's way for your own benefit, then all you reap from that is evil. Now there's verse 17 is absolutely profound. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. And it doesn't really make any difference what it is. For instance, if you know that something that somebody is doing is causing them or other people a problem, and they obviously don't understand that, it would be worthwhile for you to tell them. Even if they might not receive it all that well, at least somebody's told them, and maybe that will wake them up to the problem. If you don't tell them, and you know that them not knowing is causing a problem, because of course if they don't understand, they're going to keep doing it probably, then you're caused to sin. That's your sin. You have a sin of omission. You haven't committed a sin, but you've omitted to do a good thing. And what he's saying is, if you know that you could do good by telling somebody something and you don't, then you've committed a sin. If you know you should help somebody and you don't, then you've committed a sin. If you know that you're helping somebody else, teaching somebody else, sharing with somebody else is something that is good, and you can't do it, and you should do it, and you do it not, you've committed a sin. Sins are not just things you do. They're things you could have done and chose not to do because it was inconvenient or awkward or was going to take work and you wanted to watch the football game.